Welcome back on Demo. Today I want to propose you the unboxing and review of the White Dwarf of June 2018 released by the Games Workshop. In this case there is a particular thing that you have to remember about this White Dwarf, and that it's related to the inserts that are inside here. In fact, inside here there are two sheets of paper that are posters that are double faces, and in the images up here you can see that there is one poster that is related to the Warhammer 40k, and it's about a Warhammer Imperial Knight for the 40k that it's really nice as imaging. And in the other side of the posters there are the different shrouds of Imperial Knights, so you can see different amounts of information about. It's really quite amazing one. And in the other one there is the imaging that it's the one that it's the base for the box of new Age of Sigmar new edition, so the 2.0 edition, and it's about the Stormcast and the Night Hounds. And on the other side of this second poster there is the description of the different realms for Age of Sigmar. This is quite interesting inserting, but what I don't like is the fact that these posters are double-faced, and in this way it's a problem because I have some resistance to put them on the showing, because they are quite amazing on both sides, so it's not something that I like to make the other part hidden, but they are quite nice. Obviously, if you want, you can buy two of White Dwarfs so that you can post the two different posters on both sides, but anyway, I think that it's a bit of an exaggeration. Anyway, it's quite interesting one.
This White Dwarf treat as principal arguments the Age of Sigmar 2.0 edition, so the new edition of Age of Sigmar, and the Imperial Knights. So these two posters that I presented you are related to these two principal mainstream issues in this White Dwarf. So now we can take this off and we can start open and see the contents about the White Dwarf itself. And we can flip, and here we can see a big battle about Age of Sigmar 1, so it's quite interesting one because it represents the Source Wars, because as you can see you can find inside here all the factions that are inside this battle, that are the Deaths with the new Night Hounds, the Chaos, the Order with the new Stormcast also inside here, and here the Destruction. And then we can flip. We can see here a bit about the realms inside the Age of Sigmar world. As you can see, there are a lot of little information about them. And it's about the Source Wars, so all that it's related to this one. And here we see the part about the contents inside the White Dwarf itself. And here we can see what is inside the box itself of the new edition of the base box. So we can see there are a lot of things. Here we have what is inside the box itself. So we can see a lot of different models that are really quite nice. Sincerely, some of these I find a bit cheap. I find them not to be so good because they are the same scheme repeated, but anyway they are quite interesting. Moreover, these ones, the characters are really quite nice and amazing about realization, so it's quite interesting in that way. Then we can flip and we can see the Stormcast part about the Stormcast Eternals that are inside the box itself of the new edition of the Age of Sigmar. Then we can see the new releasing, so the hardcover rulebook. So it's quite interesting that it's a complementary inside. And here the new General Handbook 2018 that will be released together with the new edition. So you don't have to wait, and you have both the core rules and the new points and so on that you can use. There we can see this, that it's releasing about the magic, and it's particular because it's a sort of magic rate, so it's something that really it's an expansion. So remember that it's not something that you have to use, but it's an expansion that you can add to your plane, and it's related to magic itself. Then we can see the new combat gauge about Age of Sigmar that at least doesn't cost as crazy as the previous one about Age of Sigmar 1. Remember that you can find up here, if you want, the unboxing and impressions about the combat gauge of the Malign Portents. Then we can have the new 2 colors about the Night Hounds that are interesting, the new dice, and here the objectives that you can have. Then we can flip, and we can see new miniatures that have been released immediately about the new edition. So here we can see about the Stormcast, and they are quite interesting. I think it's quite nice to see them, and about the Night Hounds, and are easy to build. And believe me, if you are interested in them, they can be quite interesting because they are relatively cheaply, and they are quite easy to build, so it's an interesting one. And then we can see the Imperial Knights ways. And here, if you want, I can use Sassy because I want to bring on this channel a lot of videos about the new edition of Age of Sigmar. Anyway, I'll also bring after something related to this book, that it's the new Imperial Knight Codex. So I have it, and I'll bring the videos about it, but later, because there are too many videos to realize. Here there is the new model about the Imperial Knights that you can play. It's a bit bigger than the previous one, but mainly it's because the part of here, so the upper part, it's almost the same anyway as the dimension. It's a bit bigger because it has different weapons and so on, but it's almost the same. Anyway, it's quite interesting, but I don't think I'll buy it. Then we can see another version of the previous one, and here we can see the Armingers. So it's quite interesting because they are quite nice to see, and they are quite beautiful anyway. But taking note about the price of these ones, sincerely I suggest you to take Armor Bane, because I think that box it's better, because it's cheaper and give you a lot more models. And here we can see something that is related to the new Shining element about the Imperial Knights. And it's interesting because in the new Imperial Knights box, that it's Renegade, there is the content of the previous one added this Shining element, so it's quite interesting. It's a bit more expensive because it had also the Shining element. Anyway, I think that it's quite interesting as usages, this one, so it's quite nice. Then we can flip, we can see the new releases about the Forged, so the Alpha Legion Learner and Terminator Squad, so it's quite interesting one. Then we can flip and we can see something related to the new licensed game related to Warhammer 40k in this case, so it can be interesting if you're interested in playing this. And here about the Black Library itself, so the new book about the Soul Wars. I think that later I'll buy it, but for now it's to wait because there are too many things to buy now. And there is the normal version and the special version that it's quite interesting, but I think that I'll buy this one. And the other releasing that you can buy about the Black Library releasing. Here we have the mail about the White Dwarf, so we can see it. And here we have a battle report that it involves the factions that are inside the box itself, so the Stormcast and the Night Hounds themselves. And I think that it can be quite interesting one. Obviously there are some adding, because otherwise the boxes doesn't let you to use so much amount of points, but anyway it's quite interesting one. And also the Shining elements can be quite an inspiration, so it's quite interesting one. And then we can see the new releases about Age of Sigmar. So as we said, the box, the base box, the new core book that it's inside anyway this box. So if you buy this, you have also this one added to the miniatures, the new General Handbook 2018, and the Malign Sorcery. Then we can flip and we can see the models about the Golden Demon, and they are quite interesting, and there are some of these that are dioramas that are really quite nice to see because they are realized really quite interesting. This one, for example, the dynamic of this one, it's quite good. For example, also this one that lets you see how use the different volume in a base, so it's quite interesting, and it can be used as a referring to create also smaller bases but with similar usage. So I realized, for example, in the past something similar as using the volume, and so I like this type of realizations. Here we can see others models that I won. There we can see the designer notes about the Imperial Knights, moreover the new ones, and their minions. So I suggest you to read these to understand the development of such army, because they can be interesting. Here we can see the different parts that you can find, and here we can continue to see the designer notes, and moreover this that it's a nice way to see an army of Imperial Knights inside, so it's quite interesting one. There we can see an extract of the Star Wars of the book, so if you want to understand if it can be interesting as reading, I suggest you to read this one, because it can let you have an appreciation of what the book itself it will be. There we can see other spots about the Black Library. Actually, I repeat again, I don't like this 2 times repeating about the Black Library releasing. I prefer having all in one thing, but anyway, it's quite interesting one. This one about the Chronicle Warhammer of the Witch Hunters, sincerely I'm thinking about buying it because it's quite interesting it, and I suggest you because I think that it can be interesting. Then we can see the Brenchitsu, so we can see that we have a lot of new models to have a referring to. I think that Brenchitsu is something like an inspiration part. Really, there are quite a lot of things that you can use to create your conversions on, and I think that it's quite nice that there is such a thing. Then we had the illuminations, so we can see different images about the arguments, and in this case it's a mixed one, but for example this one it's related to Warhammer 40k, and also these ones, but you can see something that it's quite interesting, and also about the concept around these images themselves. For example, we can see this one that it's quite famous, and it has been released also miniatures about this one, and this is the cover about the Flesh Eater Kurt's book, for example. Here we can see, for example, an image about the Cattle Runners. Here we can see the boxes, different ones that we have about the different grand alliances that we have, so Chaos, Destruction, Order, and Death. Then we can see a battle report about Warhammer 40Ks this time, so we have a double battle report, these ones. And we can see, for example, the Imperial Guard, that is quite interesting, and if you go to see, you can find that some of such models are really nice to see, and they can have a bit of mix also with the ones that are from the fantasy, so the free people moreover, so it can be really quite interesting. And then we can flip and we can see the opponent of such army, that are the orcs, so it's quite interesting one. Again, talking about these ones, they talk about PL, so it's not so good, I think, but anyway, I repeat, I don't like the use of the different PowerPoints, because I don't like the use of this, and I prefer the normal points to create the armies, but anyway, it's quite interesting one to read. Then we have a sort of renewing of the Wars of Armageddon, and it's quite interesting. In one of my books I have all the description about the Third War of Armageddon, so it's quite interesting one. and we can see the background in small one that are about the first, the second, and the third of wars of Armageddons, so they can be really quite interesting ones. And we can see the dispositions of the third war of Armageddon that can be quite interesting. In this case, because the publication of such thing it's not more available, I think that it's good that it's proposed again, but anyway it's more complete in other publication. If you want and you comment under here, I can bring you that publication and make you see about the contents inside. And then we can see the continuation, because the third war of Armageddon it isn't finished yet, so it's quite interesting one. Then we have the tale of 4 warlords, so the add-in that has been brought, so for example the Beastclaw Raiders, the Dose of Cain, the Magotin of Nargol. I continue not to like the colors of these Daughters of Kings, okay. And then the Legends of Nagash. Then we can take again and we can see some things about the Age of Sigmar, so something that you can need to consider about them. Then we have the Temple Distort, and sincerely I continue not to like it because it's losing meaning, I think, such a thing. And anyway, now we have the new rules that you can play for the Middle Earth, so you can use new rules about this type of model, so they can be interesting. And I think that the one that play the Lord of the Rings or Middle Earth can find them quite interesting. I don't like to play it, so okay. And these are new rules for the Lord of Wars that are related to battle Lord of Wars against each other. So it can be really quite interesting and it's quite complete, so I think that it can be really quite interesting to use such rules, but has to be read quite an interesting one. And now we have the releasing about the Imperial Knights. So we had the Renegade, the Codex that I said I bring later inside the channel, the different boxes that are inside here, that are Imperial Knight Warden. This case, previously there were 2 of such boxes, but cause this one it's more complete than the other one, it probably had been taken out. Anyway, I want to remember you, if you are interested in buy 2 of this one, take note about this, because you can save quite a lot of money buying this box in that case. Then we had the reader models, that can be quite interesting one for having a bit of inspiration about realizing new models, so it can be quite interesting. And then we can flip and we can find the sites that you can have to refer to have new information about different releases, or simply you want to have different information about a certain sector of the Games Workshop releasing of miniatures, rules and so on. Then we have about the Warhammer World. Sincerely hope wants to go buy them, these 2 models, or better, this model and this book, because I found them quite interesting. The problem is that you have to go there physically, so it's a bit not good in that way. And then we can find what are the goings in the bunker itself or the White Dwarf, so you can see different things. And because they didn't put them in the beginning, now you can find the redeem of the White Dwarf itself. And then we can close and we can find if we have begun with the Age of Sigmar one, now we can conclude with the Imperial Knights one, because this White Dwarfs is related both to the new edition of Age of Sigmar and the Imperial Knights. So
from Dynamod it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again to the next time.